but if you go back a few weeks, it was a mass of white flowers. This is number 759, and you may find it when you look it up as Polygonum alberti, which is one of the older names, or old names, but still quite recent. And I doubt that anybody in the trade would know it by its current new name, which changed a couple of years ago, Fallopia baldscuanica, right? So it's changed. And that whole family, Polygonum and Fallopia, have kind of been in flux for a number of years, and you understand the reasons for that. When Linnaeus classified them, he had kind of a rudimentary system, so there's been quite a bit of reclassification. And just to point a note, I was reading the Royal Horticultural Society journal the other night. I always read, and ticked me off because there's a plant, Dicentra, bleeding heart, that's been known for eons as Dicentra, and now it's been reclassified. So it means I've got to go to Canada Plants and I've got to change all the names on all the Dicentras to reflect the more current new name. So it's a constant process with a lot of the plants that have been kind of on the edge of classification. So I will accept either name on this plant, and as I said, you might find a lot of information on Polygonum, but if you're looking up under Canada Plants, you will find it as Fallopia. We don't have a picture of it in flower on Canada Plants. We have one in the database. I'm not sure if they are going to upload it between now and then. I'll ask them to do it as quickly as possible, but we're going through that systematically. So I took these pictures a couple of weeks ago because I realized I didn't have it in flower, and like I said, it takes some time to get them uploaded, so you might have to go to somewhere else to look at the plant in flower. That is really the biggest giveaway to the plant, because when this vine was in flower a few weeks ago, it was a mass of white, almost like white cotton, because the flowers are about that long with the florets on them, and it's just completely covering the plant. The advantage is it's one of the late flowering vines. Most of the vines are early to mid-summer, so this one is one of the late flowering vines. As you can see, and vines are typically this way for the most part, they can be rampant. This one is particularly rampant. This had a haircut this past spring, so it was shaved back to the fence. So you can see if you put it on a structure, especially an overhead structure, there is the potential for it to overwhelm. So if we had it up on that arbor, you can imagine what it would be like. Additionally, the flowers drop their petals, and I had a friend who is a landscape architect plant this over his pergola, which he then dined under. And of course, whenever you ate dinner under it, not only would you have all these petals dropping into the plates and the soup and such, but you'd have all the insects, because the vine is so dense that insects like it as a habitat as well. So you'd be sitting there and all sorts of beetles would be dropping down onto your dinner plate, so you had to pick them out. So there is a caution there. It is a very popular vine because it flowers profusely, and that's what it's known for. So it's a mass of white flowers. Otherwise, it's got sagittate leaves. The green in here is not the plant, that's Solanum nightshade, bitter nightshade, which you can actually see here growing, which we don't want it to be. So that's nightshade. But you can see the odd remnant of the leaf on it, and you can see these long twisted stems. They were all the flower clusters, right? So again, it's a plant that can be pruned back quite severely to control it, but it's not a plant that should be planted where you don't want it to, do its thing. Back here on the fence, great. If we were planting it on that arbor over there, then it would quickly overwhelm, as it does on this one. Right. Full sun, partial shade, fairly rich soils. It'll tolerate dry soils once it becomes established, and there are no pests or diseases that I'm aware of. You might look up and find there are some. And remember what I said about pests and diseases, and you'll need to pay attention to this when it comes to your project, because I get some plant profiles handed in where it says this plant has every pest known to man short of nuclear war, right? Really, that doesn't happen. What they've done is they've listed every pest that's been found on the plant all across the world. So Pests have to be regional, local, and based on experience as well. So you have to use some discretion there when you say. So when I say there's no pests, that means you're not going to come here and not find some aphids in the spring sucking on the new shoots, but they're not a problem, right? So it's really when it becomes either a cosmetic or a physiological problem for the plant. Any questions?
You want a sample?
Absolutely, sir. Yes, we need samples of everything. Are you our designated sample taker?
Yes.
You are. Good man. Because you're setting up the plant stand. Not you, but you as a group. Okay. We have to look at the next